Hey there, my friends, this is Dave Wood. I wanted to welcome you to today's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about how to sell from an expert frame. Now, I don't want to complicate this with language, so basically this is how to position yourself as an expert. A frame is the way that you perceive something in the terms of the perception frames that you put around it, just like a picture frame. And they're seeing you as the expert that they want advice from. Now, why do you want to do that? Well, it's just, if you could imagine it like this, it's the difference between a used car salesperson and a doctor, right? When you think about a used car salesman, what do you think about them like? You think about somebody who's in a car lot and they come up to you and they just try to start pitching you whatever they want to sell, right? That's really what feels icky about them. It's not that they sell things, it's they come up to you and they're like, hey, I bet you want this car, and you're like, no, I want that one, and they try to convince you to buy a more expensive one because they want to sell you what they want, not what you want. Whereas a doctor, what they do is totally different. A doctor is positioned as an expert in their field, and so when you go in, you don't really tell him what the solution is to your problem. You tell him what the problem is, and then what does he do? He asks questions about it, and you tell him what you want, and then what happens after that is he makes a recommendation. But when he makes that recommendation, he doesn't ask you. You ever notice that about doctors? They don't say, well, what I really recommend that you kind of sort of do is take this pill that's going to stop you from having heart attacks. They say, here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to make you a prescription for this medicine. You're going to need to see this specialist, and then you need to come back and see me in 2 weeks. This is what you need to do next. Here you go. Let's schedule it this date. They just tell you what to do. They tell you what to do like your dad would tell you what to do when you're a little kid, right? And the reason you do it is because they're the expert, right? So in your selling process, when you're out there in the marketplace, if you're positioned as the person where people really want advice from you, then when you sell to them, you can do it from a totally different frame. Now there's 7 steps that I'm going to walk through, 6 of them today, and then one of them in a whole different show on how to position yourself as an expert in the marketplace to your target market. And if you follow these steps, it'll change everything. See, back in 2009, I had a massive breakthrough, and the breakthrough that I had was not actually a selling skills breakthrough. I was already good at selling in 2009. I had been a missionary. I had sold vacuums when I was 18 years old, and then what happened is I went out and I tried to sell stuff door to door. I succeeded in that. I was an insurance salesperson. I sold loans. I sold about everything that you could imagine in corporate America before I got off and I started succeeding in network marketing after a short time of failure. Well, in 2009, I really had this big jump in skill, and it was from this. It wasn't actually from selling, like I said. What was it from? It was from learning how to position myself in front of the right people at the right time when they're about to make a buying decision. And when I did that, what happened was I went from recruiting like 4 people ever in my best month to, in my business that I became the #1 producer in, I was recruiting 4 people a day, every single day, most of the time whether I worked or not. And how did I do that? I did that by learning how to position myself in an expert frame, of which the 7th step, which I'm going to talk about in another episode, is actually the most important of the 7. Well, let's go through them because you need all of these, okay? And here's the first key. This is step number 1. This is actually understanding who your market is and who they're not, right? One of the things that I learned back in 2009 that I'd never even considered, see, I was always trying to get people to buy my business, but I never really knew who the people were that were going to buy. I'd never even thought that that was an issue. I just thought if I went and I did presentations to X amount of people, I'd make X amount of sales, and therefore I need to go talk to all these people. I never thought, who are the people that are actually looking for this, and how can I find those specific people to avoid all the people that I don't want to sell to and to just sell to the people who want to buy what I've already got, right? That was a big breakthrough because I realized there are literally like 1 million people a day just on Google. They're looking for how to start a home-based business, how to start an internet marketing business, how to make money from my home. I want to learn how to market my products better. They're looking for things like how to generate more leads. They're looking for leads to buy because they think they can buy the leads. And so if you appear to a person who's looking to buy leads and you say, let me show you how to get more leads for free using this strategy, they're going to opt into your list, and they're hot prospects because they're looking for a solution right at the moment that you appear, right? So I learned how to define my target market, and that's actually the first key to really growing your business in the right way, is you want to know who your market is. The second key is to know your market better, right? And that's to research them. See, once you realize that I'm going to sell to this group of people, then you got to know what it is that they want. And if you don't know what they want, it's going to be really difficult to sell to them, okay? So how do you know what your target market wants? Well, there's a lot of things that you could do. You could use Google research, keyword research tools to find out what people in your target market are searching for. For example, if you go and you just look up the Google keyword tool and you type in home business, it's going to give you 1 million variations. If you type in a specific company name like Amway or Herbalife, it's going to give you 1 million variations. If you look up popular websites from industry websites like Digital Marketer and Power Network, it's going to give you giant lists of competitive keywords. And what those keywords really tell you is they tell you what your target market is looking for. And if you just do those searches and you read articles on the internet, you're going to actually actually find out very quickly exactly what people are searching for and exactly who's appearing in front of them to answer those questions in search. And I'm going to tell you who it is that's making all the money. It's the people that are positioning themselves as the experts, not the people asking the questions. Does that make sense to you? And so how do you know your market? It's really simple. Number one, you got to have a big general grasp of who they are. If you're in the home business niche, well, you could have a market of network marketing, you could have a market of home business, you could have a market of specific company names, right? Smaller company names that are easier to target might be a little bit more simple. And you could also have a target market of people that are doing internet marketing. Depends on what you're doing, depends on who your target market is. But you want to know exactly who they are, because if you try to market to everybody, what you're actually doing is you're marketing to nobody. It's a famous saying in direct sales. You got to know your market. Number two, you got to know them better. And how do you know them better? Well, what you do is you take that and you do the searches they're searching for, and you read the articles they're reading, and you ask the questions that they're asking, and you learn how to be up to date on your market all the time. There's actually a thing you could do. It's called Google Updates. You can actually set predefined criteria to keep up with news in your market, to keep up with news in what it is that you're specific doing. If you're keeping up with the news, if you're keeping up with market developments, right? If you go and you say, I want to know every update that's happening in the market of home business. I want to know every update that's happening in the world of digital marketing. I want to know every update that's happening on social media and what's happening with timeline algorithms. I want to know everything that's happening in the marketplace of Facebook advertising, of getting leads on Facebook. I want to know everything, right? You could literally just set a Google update. It'll come to your email inbox every day. You could just go print those articles and have a 100-page update list of things to keep fresh on and to write articles about in your market, and you could literally do that every single day. I keep up on all of the major technology companies today and what all their developments are. It's how I know some weird things, right? I actually look at their press releases, not what other people are writing about them. I look at their press releases, their technology developments, what they're actually investing money in, and that's how I know where the market is, right? If you keep up to date on your market and you keep up to date on the developments of your market and what the leaders that people perceive as leaders are doing in the marketplace, you're always going to stay fresh. You're always going to have new content to deliver. So for example, let's say you're in home business. What could you do? You could first of all go to the Google keyword tool and you could just write in home business to see a whole bunch of variants, right? To see what people are looking for. For example, this year, 2017, people might be looking for the hottest home business of 2017. If you look at that and then you just get a Google update to notify you every single time there's news in that market, you could literally just go spend 20 minutes reading 10 articles a day on home business, and you could be an expert in that area and deliver value in that area while you're targeting your target market and staying fresh in the marketplace. Does it make sense to you? What's step number 3? You got to give people in your target market what they want to keep them engaged, to keep them connected with you, to build a relationship with them. And the way that you give them what they want is by answering those questions that they're asking in their mind and answering the concerns that they have. In other words, what people in the home business industry, as an example, are looking for is very simple all the time. They're looking for a mentor, right? Everybody wants to be working with a leader and somebody who can give them expert guidance. They're looking for a way to get more leads. They're looking for cheaper, better leads, right? And they're looking for ways of getting those leads to join their business, and they might even be looking for a new business, right? Now, depending on what they're looking for, that's going to determine what you're giving them, because you don't want to give people things they're not looking for, all right? So a big problem a lot of people have in this industry is that they just try to sell people into their business, and that's all they do is try to get them to stop doing that and do this. When the reality is that a lot of the target market is already in a business, and if you try to get them to stop doing it, they just get mad and they get turned off and they unsubscribe from the list. Well, what you can do is you can connect with those people, find out what they want, and you could sell them what they want and help them get into a better frame inside their business. And in doing so, you can help them make more money, get more leads, and they're just going to naturally perceive you as a better expert, and they're going to join you in your business anyway. You want to give them what they're looking for, you want to give them what they want, and you're going to do that by staying up in the marketplace, by reading articles in the marketplace, and then by writing articles and making videos in that marketplace, and also giving them materials of things that are happening in the marketplace, if that makes sense. A bug flew into my eye, if you could imagine that. Now, here's the next step in this, and this is going to be step number 4, and that's how to get people begging to buy from you, right? Like literally begging. Now, this is something that I figured out back in 2009, and I did really well, and I do really well, where I have people like literally lining up at any given time to work with me who want to buy things from me. Now, how do I get them to do that, and how do I get them to where they're literally begging me, to where they're bothering me to say, Dave, I want to order, but look, I need to connect with somebody first. How do I get a hold of you? How do I get a hold of somebody on your team? How do I get on the phone and get this question answered? I've got my credit card in my hand, literally right now. I'm ready to buy from you. I'm ready to join. Well, there's a few steps. I talked a couple episodes ago about being attractive in the marketplace. Now here's the thing that I want you to understand though, is you don't want to just be attractive in the marketplace, you want to always be operating in a principle called abundance, where you have more prospects than you have time. You've got more leaders to work with than you have time to bring in new people. And so when people want to work with you, when people want to be involved in your coaching program, when people want to get involved in your mentorship group in your business, you got to say, hey, look, there's a waiting list and I can't bring everybody in. You got to tell me why I should invite you into this group, because if you recruit everyone, you're not going to recruit the best people. You want to be selective in who you're bringing in. You can bring in everyone, but you got to understand something, that you've got limited time. And the best people, they're going to want a relationship, and if you don't give them that relationship, they're going to find it somewhere else, right? So how do you get people literally begging to join your business? Number one, you always want to position yourself as an expert. Every time you accomplish something, you want to tell people about it. If you have a little bit of a victory, you want to tell the marketplace about your victory. Say, hey, just so you guys know, I just developed a new strategy. I recruited 3 people in 24 hours using it, and tonight on a webinar, I'm going to teach you what that strategy is and exactly how I did it, and how you can take exactly what I did for free and actually use that to market to your list. And if you show up 8 o'clock tonight, I've only got 10 spots in the webinar. I'm going to lock you in, and you're going to be able to get in that special group. If you, every single time you accomplish something, you tell people about it, people are always going to start looking to you for market breakthroughs, because you're doing things nobody else are doing, right? When the reality is everybody accomplishes things all the time, very few people talk about it. I was actually just reading some books by Donald Trump a few weeks back, and he said something in there. Now, you might not agree with the frame he says this in here, but I actually laughed. I thought it was funny. He said, you got to brag about your results, because if you don't, nobody will. Right? And so the reason he said that, though, is he said from a framing and a market perspective, if you don't go and tell people about the results that you're actually getting, nobody's going to ever talk about your results. You actually got to show people the results that you're getting. If you don't show them the results that you're getting, they're not going to know what they are. And if they don't know what your results are, they're probably not going to think you're an expert. So you got to tell them. Like if you go out there, you do a strategy, you get 100 leads, right? You got to go out there and you got to send an email out to your list that says, hey, I just got 100 leads. If you go out there, you do a strategy, you recruit 2 people in a day, you got to go tell your list, say, hey, I just developed a strategy, I recruited 2 people my first day, right? If you do that, you're going to frame yourself as an expert. Now, what does it have to do with getting people to want to buy from you and literally begging for it? Well, what you want to do is you want to figure out how much time you've got and how much time you're willing to invest in your business. And then no matter what's going on, you always want about 20-30% more leads, to sponsor more people than you could possibly deal with, to have more people wanting to work with you in your inner circle than you could possibly work with on a one-on-one basis. That's if you're a home business, but if you're a coach, if you've got a different kinds of business, it's basically going to operate in the same principles. Because if you've always got like a 20-30% increase to where you literally have to say, no, look, I'm sorry, you've got to wait, people are literally going to be like freaking out to get on your team. I get messages if I turn on a messaging box coming to me where literally I'll get 10-15 people a day literally begging me. I'll get phone calls that say, hey David, I've got my credit card in my hand, it's a Discover card, I've got $500 available, I'm ready to join, and I want to join right now. My name is Frank Smith, my phone number is blah 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 blah, and I could be reached between this time and between that time. Oh, and by the way, I will join on the call. People will leave me messages like that literally all through the day. Well, why do they do that? It's because I don't have time, right? So if I'm always the guy out there who's like all the time available, all the time, I'm begging them to get in, all the time I'm saying, here's my business, here's my business, here's my business, there's no exclusivity, I'm actually going to sponsor less people than if I just turn that around and if I just say, hey, look, I don't work with everyone. Does that make sense? Because the reality is you don't want to work with everyone. So this is a step, right? You want to get people begging to buy from you, and you do that through a principle of abundance. Number 5, right? You want to learn how to appear to people at the right time, and you want to get people to buy at the right time, and to get them to buy at the right time, you've got to do certain things. Now, this is really important. I want you to hear me out. A lot of your best people, they're not going to join you right now. They're not. They're going to join you 2 years from now. They're going to join you 3 years from now. They're going to join you 6 years from now. They're going to join you in the future. They're going to pull out your credit card from you 6 years from now. They're going to be like, you are the person I've been seeking advice for from all this time. I'm ready to join, right? Now, if you blow them out before they get to that spot, you're never going to have that happen. So how do you get people appearing at the right time and ready to buy from you? Well, it's really simple. You give them value all the time, right? If you give people value and you're unconcerned on whether they buy or join your business or not, you're just there giving them value, but you are selling. It's not like you're not selling. It's just that even if they don't buy, they're getting more value from you than they are from their company. Stuff happens. The company goes out of business. The sponsor goes out of business. The company closes their doors, right? The market changes. And then all of a sudden those people call and they give you a phone call and they say, hey, I'm ready to align with you. How can I best align with you? I've got money, I've got time, I've got a team, I'm ready to go right now. Right? How does that happen? It happens by being consistent. Let me tell you a story. This is actually on my end. Back in 2010, I was involved in a company that was selling personal development products. They went out of business, and I was making like a $10,000 residual income from that business per month, right? It was like the biggest residual income I'd ever had from network marketing, and the company literally they decided to shut down. So they actually called me and they asked me if I wanted to do door-to-door sales, and I was living in Costa Rica in this beach home making like 30 grand a month, 10 of which was from this company, and I was like, is this guy serious? Does he think I'm gonna be a sales guy when I'm like living this fantasy life? And I told him, I was like, look, if you guys shut the network marketing part of this thing down, I'm gone. I'm taking my whole team with me. He started making excuses, and I just hung up the phone, picked up the phone, was in another business in 10 minutes, and I literally had my whole downline in that business by midnight. I made $9,000 that week from that new business because I wasn't gonna put up with it, and now all of a sudden the time was right. Does that make sense? So that leader, right, who was in that other business, I did not want to join that business, but I had a relationship with him. He had given me tons of value. He had taught me lots of things, and so when the time was right, what happened is I just picked up the phone and I joined his business, right? So here's the thing. If you're doing all of these points, you're going to get to point number 6, which is going to be just closing the sale. Now, the reality is a lot of people are going to join online, and a lot of people need to go through more of a relationship-based process. I will tell you unequivocally, okay, over the years, the people that have stuck with me for the longest period of time and who have produced the most revenue are people I've had a personal relationship with. Look, I can get people involved in my business very easily through direct marketing without ever connecting with them, and it's not like I need to connect with them in order to make a sale. I don't. A lot of people, they'll see a video like this, they just put their email in, they just buy on the next page, right? A lot of people, though, they see something like this and they need kind of a more warming process. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm just going to tell you, okay, if you look over, like I have sponsored more people than anybody I know in network marketing, okay, probably 20,000. And if you look out of those 20,000 people, there's maybe like 500 of them that have produced all the results. Out of those 500, probably 480 of them I've talked to, okay? At least one time very early in the relationship. The rest of them, the ones that came in and they quit, are people that had no connection and no personal relationship with me. So, if you really want to get extraordinary results, right, you got to learn how to move people through a more connected, relationship-based process if you want to maximize your ability to win in this industry. But the cool thing is if you're talking to the right people at the right time, you're not actually selling, you're not actually being convincing, you're not actually trying to get them to do something that they don't already want to do. Does it make sense? Now, in the next episode, I'm going to talk about point number 7, okay, which is the art of social proof. Now, this is the key behind jumping up your perception in the marketplace, because there is an unconscious barrier that people put up, right, when you're presenting anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be coaching services, it could be joining a network marketing team, it could be being a part of a mentoring group, going to a private event, it could be just joining Empower if you're in, it could be list building, and that unconscious barrier can be overcome in a couple of different ways, right? Number 1, convincing people and going around it. Number 2, building a really strong rapport, right? But by far the easiest one is having it never appear. Now, the only way you can do that is social proof. So I'm going to talk to you about how to utilize and construct social proof and frame it in the right way around yourself to where you always appear in the right place at the right time in the right way to the people that you want to sell. And when you put your email in, you're going to get access to all of our daily shows. I'm going to give that to you for free. Now, also, I'm going to give you bonuses on the next page. I'm going to give you an audio of today's episode just because I believe you should listen to this several times. I'm also going to give you a workbook PDF that I encourage you to print and fill out that'll show you how to think through each parts of these points, okay? So like how to identify your target market. Who are they? What's your avatar for your target market? Like your perfect customer, what do they look like? Where do they shop? What do they want to buy, right? You want to know your customer as much as you know yourself, right? Because if you know your customer more than, just as much as you know yourself, it's like when you reach out and you talk to your customers, it's not like a salesperson, it's like a friend or like a trusted advisor, and that's how you want to appear. Okay, does that make sense? But I'm going to talk about the art of constructing social proof, which I have utilized to massively expand my brand and my presence in the marketplace. And I know exactly how to help you get results doing that. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do in that next episode. So put your email in on the next page. You'll have an opportunity to tell us how we can help you. And right now, I want to ask you to do one more thing. Share this on Facebook. Also, leave me a thought below and just tell me, what you liked about this content. If you like this content, I'll continue making more content like this. But I want to give you the tools that you want to win, and the best way you can give me feedback on in helping me do that is tell me, what do you want to learn in the comments? What do you learn from the show? What are you going to apply? Be really detailed. The winner, we're going to give you a free book just for writing the best comment of the day. That's all you got to do is beat out the other comments. There's usually about 80 or 100 of them on every show. Just write the best one. You could win a free book. Put your email in after that. Claim your bonuses on the next page, and I'll see you in that next episode when I'm talking about the art of social proof. My friend, I'm looking forward to helping you to take your life and your business to the next level. Let's lock arms and fight the forces of evil. This is Dave Wood, and I'll see you in the next episode.